told me I'm wrong, I will accept it. Yeah, but I know that I'm not. Yeah, but hold on 1 second, sir. I'm nearly finished. He said that he had heard a voice, yeah, from the so-called creator of the world, and he said that this was transmitted to him via. Mohammed didn't say this. Do you understand? His father-in-law. It isn't. Yeah. Hold on 1 second, sir. He said that the Quran doesn't make any mistakes. You know that. Yeah. He said that what he was given, his father-in-law said came from the angel Jibreel. I think we're asking the wrong question. I genuinely do. I think the question we should be asking is, what was the religion, 2 questions, what was the religion of Muhammad before he allegedly went into the cave, and what was the religion of his father-in-law before he went into the cave?
His father-in-law?
Pardon? Well, hold a second. I'm asking this as a question. Oh, okay. I already know what the answer is.
Why his uncle?
Well, hold on. Sir, just one moment.
Uncle?
It's a very simple question. I'm just asking you. Before Muhammad went into the cave, did Muhammad have a religion? And what did he follow? Did his father-in-law have a religion? And what did he follow?
He didn't have a father-in-law.
Are you talking about the wife's Christian? He was a Christian.
Yeah.
He was what we call a Hanif, a prophet.
Right.
A Hanif is basically someone that believes that there is a God, one God, and that's
Right. Now,
So we never had an actual religion then?
No.
Right.
Okay.
Well, we knew there were 360 religions in that particular place. Well, they were
Idols.
Well, you say that they're idols. Yeah. Idols is just a perception based on a space and time continuum. Depending where you came into the world, you would have a particular belief. All I'm asking you is simply.
Is an idol a statue? Something that you make with your own
You
hands?
say it's an idol.
I'm asking.
Well, I'm saying to you, I'm
They don't say
going by the scholarly work that I've read, about those 360 idols, and I'm saying, what did Abu Bakr, what did Muhammad, what did them all before he went into that cave study? Well, study. What religion were they?
Christians?
I don't know what they were, but I think.
They believe in one God.
Oh, Abu Bakr.
No, at the time.
I don't know about Abu Bakr and them lot.
We already know. If we're going
We
by
know
scripture,
Prophet Muhammad, but we don't know about the Sahaba. If we're going to be honest, we don't know. They could have been pagans for all we know. We don't know.
Knew about the Prophet Jibreel or the Prophet Gabriel. Where would he have known about that from?
From Christianity?
Pardon? Who is it, sir? No, that's not the point I'm making. I'm saying to you, of course he wouldn't have been Muslim yet. Yeah, that goes without saying, because it hadn't started. Sir,
Yeah. Where would you have heard the term Gabriel from? Where would you have heard
Can I just say,
Christians, exactly.
But wait.
No, sir. Listen. No.
Let's continue.
No.
Let's continue.
I genuinely like you, and I think you're clever enough to understand what I'm saying. I'm asking, what religion, what did they study? Because I'll tell you the reason why. In the hadith of Bukhari, it was made clear that what Muhammad heard in the cave was the angel Jibreel.
He was told that, yes.
He was told that.
Yes.
Who told him that?
The uncle?
Someone connected
Who?
to the
What is his name?
Khadija. Someone connected
What
to
was his name?
Thank
Thank you. What religion was he?
I think he may have been a Christian or something. Yeah.
Right. Here's the problem that I have.
Yes.
Muhammad said that I had heard voices. It seemed as if he may well have had what we today would call seizures, because he said if you've ever studied someone who had a seizure, one of the things those recitations too.
The people that were there.
Pardon?
The people that were there.
Just I'm asking you, who would he have given it to?
The people he's preaching to.
Thank you very much. Whatever was written down, would Muhammad have been able to read it?
Nope.
It's already
Nope. Pardon? Yeah, I know, because they say it's an
you
oral
can't read.
tradition.
already first.
Yeah, I understand that. It's an oral tradition, and I accept that. The point that I'm making is that would he be able to read what was written down.
His surname from
Nothing. The point is, I get what you're saying,
Thank you.
but there's nothing to read because there's nothing written down. It was oral.
So then what did the angel ask him to read?
Listen to him. So
Recite.
they would have.
Ikra means to.
No, they said
Ikra
simply
means read and
That's what it
recite.
means.
Don't argue against another man's language, bro. That's Arabic for you.
Sir,
That's
It doesn't
silly.
make sense because
Can I just say,
So-
I'm not explaining
A
myself
word can mean
properly.
different
if
things.
I came to you and I
happens.
said recite,
Yeah.
why would your next reply be I do not know how to read? You would say, I do not know what you're asking me to recite. That would be your response. If I said
difference-
recite, you would say, well, recite what? Or I don't know why. He said read, and he said, I do not know how to read.
You're being a
Muhammad
bit-
knew how to
Bro,
recite.
You're just saying the same thing.
No, but he knew how to recite.
Yeah,
So why would he say he can't do it?
Bro, I heard you.
Can I just,
Let me just
10
quickly
seconds,
respond to
10
that.
seconds.
You misinterpreted the
10
angel.
seconds.
Quickly,
One word, 10 seconds.
quickly.
The
English
problem-
and Arabic
Sir.
are not the same thing. English have read and then they have recite.
Right.
Two separate things.
That's fine.
You can give two separate responses to. But in Arabic,
Right.
much older, much more advanced, one word can mean two different things.
Okay.
Therefore, you can falsely assume that it
So
means one
he
thing.
was confused. He thought you meant read something. He
Bro,
said,
he's seeing a supernatural being right in front of him.
He didn't-
What do you want?
You believe it?
Are you
no.
surprised that he
Can I
didn't
just say
confuse?
to you,
No, the
that's
story.
not true.
No, wait.
He didn't say that he saw anyone.
I know, but let me finish.
Wait,
Wait. If you are in the
He
presence,
said he
So
saw
he
him in
didn't
the
see
form
anyone.
of a human.
if you are,
Sir, he said he saw him in the form
if you are in the
of a man.
presence,
Hang on,
wait.
That's what he
hang on, hang
says.
on.
Let's
Sir,
not
that's
argue.
not
I wanna-
I wanna-
what I'm telling you as a fact. The second time, he said that he saw him in the form
Let's
of a man.
continue.
Sir, that's not the point that I'm making. I'm saying the first time he saw nobody. The second,
Who was in that cave with him then?
As he was descending the mountain, he
Sir,
looked
sir,
up.
can I
Good
just say to
question.
you-
Who
can I
was
just
in
say
that
to you-
cave with him?
And that's the question. Can I just say to you, this is unarguable. Yeah, according to the hadith of Bukhari. You understand? And according to every scholastic work that I've seen, at
haven't
no
heard it.
time,
Wait.
at no time did Muhammad say that he saw anybody in that cave. I'll get the hadith for you. Well, if you go,
As he was descending from the mountain.
Sir, 1 minute. If you go,
So
no,
did he
that's
just
not
hear
what I
voice?
said. That's not what I said. They
said
the
something
second
grips them
time
up.
he saw him, he said he
Something is
saw
gripping you up. Did you not see
someone
them?
looking like a man. Yeah, this is what he said. The first time when he left
Brothers,
that
come on,
cave,
let's expand a little bit.
first time, this is
what I
not
mean.
arguable. No Muslim here can tell me this is arguable. The first time he went and said what had occurred, he said he saw nobody. You understand? There is nowhere.
talking about on that occasion only.
So I'm talking about the first thing. Remember, we're talking about the start. We're talking about the start of Islam. The first time he saw nobody. After he spoke and said what had happened, somebody else told him it was the angel Gabriel. But that's not the point that I'm making. That's not the point that I'm making. The point that I'm making is if we accept, as he said, that there is a God, I'm prepared to accept that. If he says that this God is infinite, I'm even prepared to accept that.
That's what I did for the
If he
second
says this God makes no mistakes, I will even go further and say that I'm prepared to accept that. Let me tell you the problem. No, 1 moment.
That's wrong,
The
that's
one
wrong.
problem,
Not
the
true.
one problem, just 1 moment and I'll come to you. The one problem that I have is simply this.
He says,
If
he
this
looked back at the
God,
mountain, he saw angels.
yeah, if it
I
does
did
say,
look back.
it's sir,
But the question is-
sir, in Tadmini it does say that, but you want to bring the story much further than I'm prepared to go at the moment. I'm talking about the
initial,
start.
the initial.
Yeah, I'm talking
Trying to
about.
say if he saw him the
Sir,
second day.
sir,
That was the first same day.
I'm talking.
Doesn't count.
Well, hold on a second, sir. If
Let him
something
make his
starts
point.
in the beginning,
Let him make his
when this
point.
man spoke earlier, and he was speaking about how space works and how the Earth expands, he said that it started somewhere. He said it started. You said it started at a point. I'm going back to the
point.
original point where Islam
like
starts.
that.
Yeah,
Go on.
absolutely.
Go
And
on.
so I'm saying
Go
that
on, what's
I'm
it?
prepared to accept that whoever is that being may well be able to transmit message. Here the problem that I have, and it's a simple one. A God so perfect, so magnificent, so all-knowing, he has the 99 attributes, plus one, he's the beneficent, he's the merciful, he's the master of all he surveys, transmits a message in a way that whom you transmit it
leave it to
initially
me,
does not know how to answer it. He has to go for clarification. He has to go from clarification from someone else to get that message and find out what it is. He then gets these particular seizures over a 23-year period, and hey presto, the Quran. I'm sorry. If you accept that story, everybody here should accept the story, as I said previously, of Jade the Emperor in China, because it's virtually the same story. Yeah, Izanagi in Japan, it's the same story. You understand? Quetzalcoatl in Mexico, it's virtually the same story. I can name you the gods from all over the world who have a fairly similar story. I don't accept it. If you say, well, what do you accept? Do you accept anything in Islam? There are many things that I accept and love in Islam. I understand in Islam when they speak about usury, you understand, and the harmful effects on that. That is fantastic, you understand. I like the way in which they speak about the division of property, you understand, and the right for women in Islam. That is fantastic, but that in and of itself does not make it a holy book. The beginning of the story is nonsensical, and what you should do is study Abu Bakr, because you guys are not looking at Mohammedism, you're looking at Abu Bakrism.
Give me a chance to respond. Well said, good question. No. Well said, good question. At this particular academic side of things, my brother's got the hadith.
Yes, sir.
Please explain how Gabriel was introduced.
Let me get the hadith as well.
Yeah, brother. Read it for us, brother.
Not very good. I read some, but I'm not as good as you.
Brother, read it for us.
Read it out loud.
Basically, this is in Arabic. Let me just read it in Arabic, yeah?
No, read it in English. It's be no point. Everyone's going to be like,
Anyway, the Prophet ﷺ first seen Jibreel alayhi salam. Where is it? This is in Tirmidhi. Tirmidhi, جاءت عن أبي الأسود عن عروة عن
so
عائشة
first
رضي
he
الله
sees
عنها.
him in a dream.
Yeah.
And then? This is the first time, yeah?
Yeah, first time.
The very first time he sees him in a dream. Second time?
It says a jihad, like there's an area called jihad.
Second time he sees him on road.
Yeah. And then
Is this Al-Tamimi
and
now?
then Jibreel shouts, "Oh Muhammad, oh Muhammad." Then the Prophet looked right, he didn't see nothing. He looked left, he didn't see nothing. Then he looked up, and then he saw Jibreel alayhi salam, in the heavens. So he got scared, and he ran, and he went into the people, amongst the people. Then after that he came from out, from amongst the people, and then استعلن له Jibreel. And he استعلن, it's like as in he called out, say like it's I'm Jibreel.
Yes.
So he introduced himself. من قبل حراء.
So this is all before the cave.
Before the cave.
This is all before the cave. All right.
After that, then فذكر قصة إقرائه. Then after that, the قصة of إقراء.
Yeah.
إقراء after that.
After that was the cave.
Yeah. And now.
So he had three.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now in here, you're saying this. I've got this
Allahu
riwayah,
Akbar.
But to be honest as well, in this riwayah, they say that it could be weak narration, but there's another riwayah in Tirmidhi that makes this one strong. There's another riwayah from another direction that makes this
So this hadith in question.
This before the cave, yeah. So I said first in a dream, and then he's seen it in the heavens, and then after that, and he introduced himself as well.
And when he was leaving the cave, if I remember correct, there was a hadith where when the Prophet is running, he actually tells him, look, I'm Gabriel, and you are the Prophet of Allah.
According to this in Arabic, it's ta'lan, like he called that.
There you go.
Let me just say to you, I understand
worth
that.
studying.
It's worth
studying.
But it's completely disingenuous, and I'm going to tell you.
We don't know that.
Well, sir, I'm going to
It's
tell
the
you
same
why it is. I'm
Al-Tamimi,
going to tell you why.
right? That said you struck the right shoulder
I do.
and the black offspring, left shoulder, white offspring. It's the same Al-Tamimi.
Can we all accept?
It's the same Al-Tamimi.
Don't start something, man.
No.
We're at one place now.
But can he be
Sir,
trusted, bro?
it's
That's all I'm
simple.
saying.
Stop the worms, man.
Can we all accept?
Try and bring the worms out of the can.
Can everybody here accept that the narration or the oral tradition or the isnad, whatever we wish to call it, is an interpretation or is things that someone has said to someone else who's passed it on? This is the oral tradition. When you look at Tirmidhi, he's given the term Sahih, which simply means authentic. Yeah, we understand that. But there are other Sahis, in Islam. There are 6 major Sahis in Islam.
Sahih? 6?
6. I know some people may say 4, but there's 6. I just want to read this to you, just one moment. Just follow me a second.
So can I say one thing?
Yeah, of course you
Very
can.
quick. So are we gonna base whether he got the message
No, that's
based
not what I'm
on
saying. No,
on
that's
that?
not what we're saying.
Yeah, all right, cool.
The point that I'm making is that, and I understand what you said, and I appreciate what you said, and I will look at that even deeper. But when I start discussing anything, I will actually go to the very beginning. That is not the beginning. Do you understand? We know
We can't pick and choose. They're both here.
Sorry. Let me just say to you, I understood the text that he said because I've read it quite a few times. You understand? If you knew my background, you understand, he knows the bit, he would know that I've read it. You understand? Reading and understanding are two different things. You understand? So I may well accept that I may well not have understood it the way in which he understood it. And my ego is not so puffed up that I will not say that. However, I want to read you this, for example. This is very important. Right, this is Sahih Bukhari, yes, 001 Hadith 002. Okay? Right. It says, narrated by Aisha. Yeah, that's the mother of the faithful believers, Al-Harith bin Hisham. Yeah, asked Allah's apostle, alayhi salam, oh Allah's apostle, how is the divine inspiration revealed to you? Allah's apostle replied, sometimes it is revealed like the ringing of a bell. This form of inspiration is the hardest of all, and then this state passes. After I've grasped what is inspired, sometimes the angel comes in the form of a man.
Yeah, we don't have hadith about that.
Sir, I'm just saying, sometimes the angel comes in the form of a man. But remember, in the first instance, it wasn't in the form of a man, it was in the form of a voice. He saw nothing. Pardon? So, sir, let me just say to you, first and foremost, I haven't read that it was a dream. You understand? That's not what was said. When he pointed out, this, I'll show you, that's the hadith here, sir. Yeah, that's the hadith there.
Is that the query?
Hold on. The point that I make, because I'm going back to the beginning. Yeah, you guys want to push the story a little bit further. I'm going to the big. Well, hold a second. Well, I'm reading what Aisha says. You can't say before the cave. You can't, and I'll tell you the reason why you can't say that. Because there was no Islam before the cave.
No. But the Prophet is saying what happened to him in the meeting. Or Jibril, the sight of Jibril alayhi salam. Yeah? You can't talk about that. If you became Muslim, you don't talk about what happened before.
Sir, let me just say to you, firstly, there was no Islam before this. You understand? Many people, I know he will say that we've always had Islam. Sir, and he's allowed to do that. That's not the problem I have. I'm talking, well, can I just say to you, you get the message from him, which has been told to you by someone else. Well, you say that, but let me just go back to this because this is very important. He says, I've grasped what is required. Sometimes the angel comes in the form of a man and talks to me, and I grasp whatever he says. Aisha added, verily I saw the Prophet being inspired divinely on a very cold day, and noticed the sweat dripping from his forehead. We can go on, and then it says,
About the 23 years,
sir,
he's constantly getting the message.
hold on a second. Hold on a second.
So
I'm actually trying to help you here. Yeah, and I'll tell you the reason why. If I wasn't trying to help you, I would stick with what happened initially in the cave. Do you understand my argument? My argument is not that Muhammad shouldn't have received any inspiration. My thing is that he received allegedly an inspiration that he. Well, hold on. Allegedly.
From a man in a cave.
Allegedly. He didn't say that it was from Jibril. That's the point that I'm making.
Someone else said it.
Somebody else said it's from Jibril. I've gone to the part. Right, you know what? I heard somebody saying this to me today. I've gone and I've seen Homeboy, and he said, oh, you know, that was blah blah blah, and I go, I didn't know that. Respect. It makes no sense whatsoever.
I'm waiting.